homies. WTFs in the chat. Is going on, everybody? It's Nick Bachlich, your host. WTF? What? Winning with a flex. Hold up. I butchered the intro. That's okay. Just got off work. Long day. Second stream. It's 10 p.m. on the West Coast, but we're alive. We have a LaCroix and we have a coconut water. Get us through the night. Very excited to do a draft today, or tonight, I should say, and maybe two. WTFs, what is going on, everybody? How we doing? What's up, Papa Bray? What's up, Zero Fucks? What's up to all my Degens that are awake right now, ready to draft? Oh, and by the way, I have a guess. What's up, Sus?
What's going on, man? Just settling in for the night. Got the last minute invite. You know, I had to pull up, rip an eliminator with you, if that is what we are indeed doing.
Yes, sir. I could always count on my boy from the East Coast to be up at 1 a.m. doing some drafts.
Just drafting with my degenerate friends type shit.
Yes, yes, sir, man. Well, welcome in. I'm glad you're in the stream today.
Happy to be here. It'll be good stuff.
Yes, sir, man. If you didn't catch it, did a live stream with Hartman earlier. Was a lot of fun. Love talking to Hartman. Have a lot of sharp takes, and think we built a couple of nice teams earlier.
Yeah, I liked what I saw. It was good stuff. Well structured. Got good positional allocation. Attacking it the right way.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we hit you with the Uno reverse. You know, I was like, I'm gonna go live, and then like legit 2 minutes before the live stream, I tweeted out that I had a guess. So we'll see. We are gonna be doing a eliminator. So if anyone is interested, we're doing it a little differently. Usually I'm drafting with my guests, but this we're gonna try to get into the same lobby doing two different teams.
Are we doing a 20-second or a 30-second?
You know what? Let's check the 30-second. Let's see how that's doing. So I'm gonna enter it on my phone right now in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's a plus 10.
It's a little bleak. I'm also in it.
Okay. So plus 9, 30-second. Let me add the screen up actually. Yo, what's up, JT Best Ball? Hey, no worries. I appreciate you, the like, the comment, and just checking in, man. I checked out JT Best Ball stream a little earlier today. Talk about why you should be drafting Brock Bowers in the second round. Go check it out. Do 20 seconds. Yeah, I think let's see what the 20 seconds are. I'm gonna back out 30-second, and I am heading into a 20-second right now.
All right. Oh, needs
one more. Need one more if you guys want to get in the 20-second.
I'm gonna pop out. Sorry, 30 seconds. Till next time.
Till next time. The 30 seconds never feel fat. I mean, I think today we did a 30-second actually, but usually it's the 20-second always.
Oh, you pulled a nice spot.
The 1.3, baby. Let's get it.
I'm looking crusty at the 111.
You know, like in the eliminator, like I think it's fine with the later picks, but I do prefer earlier for the eliminators.
It's kind of cool to just have that Bijan or Saquon or Gibbs for you right there if you need it.
Yeah, because I know exactly who I'm taking when I have the 1.3. When I have a later round, I mix it up a little bit with the receivers. Sometimes Jenny falls. Sometimes I'll pull Henry up. Sometimes I'll pull HN up. Just kind of depends on how I'm feeling.
Yeah, pulling up HN to 14 or 15 overall feels like finding this.
Yeah. So if you missed it, me and Sus, we're doing two. We're basically drafting our teams, and then we'll be talking about it, going over. I'll be trying to snipe him. He'll be trying to snipe me. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
At least we're far enough apart that we can't do too much violence to each other.
That is true. So we also have zero fucks in this draft as well.
He's gonna have me on tilt for sure. I already know. 1-9.
You guys are gonna be fighting over Roshan, round 13.
The Roshan wars. We gotta wage wars over picks in the 170s. It's only right.
Yes, sir. So with the 1.3, I'm gonna mix it up. I go Bijan. I'll go Gibbs. Today's a Gibbs team.
Can't go wrong with Gibbs. Had the most double-digit point games last year of anyone at the skill positions. He just sets that floor, and of course, we saw the ceiling he has as well down the stretch.
Yeah, Gibbs is one of the safest players in fantasy, and he also offers that crazy ceiling. Especially if anything ever happens to David Montgomery again, like Gibbs is the 1.1 easily.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, imagine if like Demont went down like week 4 this year. Just the nuking that would occur.
Yeah, everybody would be like, damn, I wish I would have took more Gibbs.
Where would you take Gibbs if he had that type of role for like 8 weeks?
1.1.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I still think Chase, you could argue Chase 1.1 because he's a receiver, but Gibbs would easily jump to the 1.2 spot. Like if I knew Montgomery was missing half the season,
yeah,
Gibbs would easily be my RB1 overall.
I'm with you 100%. See what Zero does.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what kind of what you'll do here. I mean, we'll see. Obviously, don't want to give nothing away. Zero goes Malik Neighbors with the 1.9.
It's a shame that Amon Ra, Puka, and BTJ all have the same buy. It's a little inconvenient.
It is, yeah. I mean, it is kind of tough for doing that with your first two picks. You definitely could get by with it, but it just there's also players that you probably like drafting that have week 8 buys too. Like so it just makes it a little tough. So Sus goes Derrick Henry and Brian Thomas.
Grab a little big dog share. I don't do him too much in this, just because I kind of break ties to pass catching backs. But it's good to mix in some big dog. He can go off, of course.
Do you ever take HN over Derrick Henry?
I think I have once or twice in the eliminator so far. Just because he's younger, feels like a little. I don't know that maybe he has less injury risk just because of age, and maybe that's not true. But I just like the pass catching guys. They set that floor, whereas like Henry can ping pong, like a 25-point week with like a 7-point week.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think I had like I was gonna say like I think outside eliminator I have HN over Henry. In this, it's a little closer because I think Derrick Henry offers a safe floor. Yeah. But I still love HN. I think HN is amazing.
Yeah, and I'm starting to wonder, what's your rate on this Jonnu thing? Did he kind of back off and just say, I'm going to stay in sunny Miami, Florida? Or do you think he could still be on the block?
No, I think Jonnu said, oh, you're going to trade me to Arthur Smith? I'm good. Yeah.
I'm good. I actually love the money I make now and don't want any more.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay, so we take Brock Bowers. I don't take much elite tight end here, but feels good with the late second. And I do want to mix in some Bowers and McBride at the 2-3 turn.
Yeah, he could just set a crazy floor for you and saves you a roster spot. I love getting extra roster spots if I can at running back and wide receiver. Just because of the positional volatility. It's pretty cool.
It is, and it does feel good, like especially if I could lock down where one of the positions I'm only taking 2. It feels good. Rice goals. Okay, let me see. I think I'm gonna do Chase Brown. Yeah. After the draft, I was like drafting Chase Brown along the third because I was like, like this dude like totally didn't get any players drafted that's gonna take his role. Will's up for Chase Brown. kind of been backing off a little bit. I don't know. I don't know, like something in my guts telling me not to like be too heavy on him, but he should still see majority of the work. He's on a good offense. He'll catch passes.
Yeah, you know, if he
Solid
had the
point.
role he had down the stretch last year, he'd be a first round pick. So I do think you get baked in some of the, regression of a role to like a not CMC role. So it's not the
Yeah.
worst for sure.
CMC Light would be amazing.
Yeah.
Stars says, Roach, what the fuck is up? What's up, dog? How we doing, man? Oh, TV Bucks. Yeah, you missed it, brother.
Damn, he did miss.
I'm a sniper.
WTF?
You ain't gonna snipe nothing, Zero. Zero's multi-tabling right now.
Sniping me and taking Kyron Williams, that is oxymoron. That is not possible.
Is that yeah? I was like,
Never.
did he do you a favor?
Yeah, he hooked me up big time.
Oh, Papa Bray's gonna multi-table you guys. Watch out.
WTF? Come on.
JT says late round Eli can be really nice when you go the strong receiver, and if the right RB come back in the next 2 rounds, they can turn really nice on my opinion. Late round Eli. Is he talking about Eli Mitchell? Or am I like
I'm not sure.
Eli? JT, if you're here, who are you referring to as Eli? Oh, duh.
Obviously, idiot. I should have known that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll know next time. I'll do better.
That makes sense. Yeah. I was thinking Eli Manning, actually. All right, let's see. So what'd you do, man? What's going on? So you go Jaden down. Oh, a little Jaden Terry stack. Okay.
On the point you made about Bowers, I also like the elite tight ends in this. Saves me a roster spot, high floor, high ceiling. And when those bye weeks hit, I feel more comfortable usually in like the QB2 I take than like, some of these running backs or wide receivers. So I like just having extra bodies there.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And just a FY to anyone that doesn't know, Sus Edwards was in the finals last year in the Eliminator.
It was one of the contests that did not destroy me. So
that's true. Okay, I think I'm gonna go just Tet. Yeah, I don't mind that. Should see a lot of volume, no competition.
yeah, he's starting to feel pretty fun, and he has a nice soft playoff schedule from 15 to 17.
You see his face though. The movie. I think Beetlejuice, right? That big ass dude with the small head.
That's insane work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do they have his whole shoulder blades in there? That's crazy.
There's a conspiracy theory that's saying that Underdog is making his head smaller each day.
That would be a great bit.
Just on purpose.
Just like 0.5% smaller. I'd be with that.
Yeah. You know what? I think we're gonna pull up someone a little bit. I'm gonna take Calvin Ridley. I think he's someone that should see a lot of targets, better offense. He left a lot on the plate last year. Number one receiver in air yards, and could be the true receiver one. So,
hey, I had 30% Calvin Ridley last year. I was a big Glazer. That air yard stat, I didn't know that. That makes me sleep a little bit better at night in my points per air yard leagues. But unfortunately, Will Levis could not get the ball there.
No. Well, are you back in on Ridley this year?
I'll be in at like a more reasonable percentage. I think I just got carried away at his old price last year. But I think I'll probably be like a 12-13% Ridley guy. But I really just like that round right now. So
it's a very nice round. So JT says Eli was eliminator. Oh, okay. So you're saying late round eliminator can be really nice when you go strong receiver. Oh, he's saying when you pick at the in the 1-2 turn to start the draft. I agree. Yeah, you could get 2 BBC alphas, man. And sometimes even like Breece Hall will fall to you. Kyron even sometimes he'll fall. So if you could start 2 like legit receiver ones and still end up getting a running back like that, feels good. Imagine drafting Polynesian sus.
I mean, it's something exotic about it. I don't know. Gets me going.
Yeah. All right. So Zero has a neighbors Higgins, Kyron, Devontae, David Montgomery build. You're rocking. So you go George Pickens and Juwan Jennings.
I had to pull up my man Genus. I'm a little behind on his exposure across the board. Just been seeing some good stuff on him, whether it's PFF, Matt Harmon. It seems like he's locked in to the role, and I can't just use his like draft capital from 5 years ago against him. If he's good, he's good. So
Juwan Jennings, right? You're saying?
yeah, and his bye weeks layer well with the team I've got going. So
Yeah, the 49ers receiver room is like it's like, man, like it's tough to kind of predict what we're gonna see, but what we do know is Juwan Jennings was the best receiver last year for them. And like he seems like he's a good receiver. He earned targets, and Ricky Pearsall, you can make some excuses. He got shot, maybe he started slow, but dude had 3 games in a row where he had 0 points.
yeah, that was a little bit tough. I think he was getting acclimated to the league. I think he might have had another soft tissue injury, if I'm not mistaken. Not great that he tweaked his hamstring already, but
Yeah, man, this is an interesting pick for me here. I love Addison as a player. I just don't feel great taking him if he's gonna get suspended for 3 games.
yeah,
I think for this one, I'll take the chance of Rome, receiver 3. I'm okay with that.
he's been having some nice highlight catches so far in camp. It just feels like he's going to be set up for success this year.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast where they're kind of like breaking down the Bears last year, and it was bad, right? Caleb got sacked more than any other quarterback. Shane Walden, terrible coach, and like Rome was disappointing as a player, but there was a lot left off the plate because Caleb missed him on a couple of big throws, and like Rome, like I don't think he's like gonna be a star, but I do think he could. I think he's better than what we saw last year.
Yeah, I'm even leaving the light on for maybe a breakout year 2, year 3 star level breakout. I mean, he did have the draft capital and the pedigree and the talent. I think a lot of the guys on the Bears last year just like kind of mailed it in at a certain point at the wide receiver position. They were like, this whole thing is hopeless. Like Shane Waldron, they were all just running go routes and like nobody's open and it's like so predictable. We see this a lot where like the Eagles a couple years ago that everyone just kind of quit on the team and then they bounced back this past year. I kind of like buying those situations where the coaching was so bad that everyone checked out and we like kind of get bored or forget how good they are.
Hmm. No, I agree with
DJ
that.
Moore, dog. Roma Dunze, probably a dog. And the rest of that offense too.
No, for sure. And like Rome didn't have like a terrible year. Like he still put up over 750 receiving yards. He flashed. I just think that he was just getting drafted highly. I mean, the whole Bears were, right? You had 3 receivers going in like the top 6 rounds. You know, didn't really pay off too much off that. But like with the upgrades they're doing, betting on Ben Johnson, like, and we've seen like number one overall quarterbacks where like T Law was terrible. Trevor Lawrence had a horrible year, but then he bounced back. Jared Goff had a terrible year with Jeff Fisher, and then he looked pretty good the next year. Caleb, who like looked bad, but he also produced decently in fantasy. Like if he like he's probably in the best situation of most quarterbacks going into a second year of like revamping the offense the way they did.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
so
and he has stuff that he can clean up, but I think Ben Johnson's the perfect guy to help him clean it up. Like, don't throw the ball 70 miles per hour when the wide receiver's 8 yards away.
yeah, I agree with that. Okay, so talk about your start right now. You got what's that, 6 receivers?
The room is making me do what I don't want to do in the eliminator, but I'm not going to just, bend over and take Jalen Warren in the 80s. So just going to hammer the wide receivers and try to make it work. Big dog, bring us home.
I, I like it, man. Don't conform. Don't be forced to reach on the running back. Say fuck it. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna keep taking these receivers.
What's that Kanye bar? Rather be a dick than a swallower. You know what I mean?
What? Wait, what? That's a bar?
Think
Wait,
about it.
that's I know I'm thinking
It's an
about
old
it.
bar. It's not a canceled bar. That's an old bar. That's an acceptable bar.
That is wild bar though, bro. I haven't heard that one, so GG's, man. Yo, Hartman,
WTF?
WTF, bro. How you doing? If you guys haven't checked it out, me and Hartman had a pretty good stream earlier this morning.
W stream.
Caleb does hold on to the ball too long. You know, he's kind of like Justin Fields always been like that as well. But I think Caleb also, I think with the better offensive line, he could get better at that. Yeah, it's a good point, Harmon. This is a tough pick for me here. I don't know what I want to do. You know, fuck it. Jordan Mason, I'm cool with.
Yeah, he feels like a lot of fun in this format.
Yeah, RB3, I'll take it.
Yeah, the Caleb stuff.
Yo, what's up, Who Mans? How we doing, baby?
Yo, yeah.
Hey, I appreciate it, Zero. Thanks for checking on my team. I'd rather be a leader than a follower, and I'd rather be a dick than a swallower. Got Hartman dropping the bars. Is that the remix version?
That's the extended bar. He took it to its full potential.
Let's go. What were you saying though? I feel like I cut you off.
Oh, the Caleb stuff in college, he also held on to it pretty long in college, but to me that felt more like hero ball, where he's just like trying to, carry a not so great team to victory. Yeah. And in the NFL, it felt like he was getting sacked. He was holding it too long, but just because, the game really speeds up and the offensive line was terrible and the play design was bad. So I think we could get some correction to that this year.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I think so too. I think he, second year progressing as a quarterback has better offense pieces around him.
No doubt. So Najee Harris still, like probably the greatest click on the board. Is he going to save me?
Is he going to save you? Is that your way of trying to Uno reverse Zero into picking Najee Harris?
Or is it reverse psychology? I mean, there could be a number of mind games happening at the moment.
Yeah, there's plenty. You can never trust what another one's trying to do.
These games we play. Any unique builds standing out?
I was looking at that. Nothing too crazy. I mean, yours is a little bit 6 receivers. One running back, 6 receivers. But I'm sure we'll see what happens right now.
It's a flaming pile of garbage.
So Zero does go Najee Harris. Sus is saying, fuck RB. RB's not important in the eliminator. Let me build all around my other pieces.
Yeah, get ready to learn a bit, buddy.
He goes stack too. Let's go. When you have the big dog, Derrick Henry, some say you only need to finish with 1 RB in 18 rounds.
We're about to cook up a stinky running back room right now. It's about to be something else.
Dude, I'm kind of feeling like that with receiver a little bit, where I have Ted, I have a rookie, I reach on Calvin Ridley, and then my receiver 3 and receiver 4 are sharing bye week. So I definitely need to start clicking some receivers.
Yeah, we should petition Underdog to allow us to trade on these teams, As long as it's like a fair trade value. Should be able to, trade a Jordan Mason for something.
That'd be hilarious if they did that. That would cause so much chaos.
Surely everyone would behave reasonably and react accordingly.
Yeah, Twitter would be fine. Twitter wouldn't burn down.
No.
So I'm coming up, and I have a couple of things I can do here. I have a 1-3-4-1 build. I feel good. I feel okay with my team right now. Like RB room is fine. I'm thinking if I want to take Burden to double stack with Caleb, but Burden week 5 bye too, and I'm just like, man, like that's 3 receivers with week 5 buys.
That's tough.
Yeah, I'm cool with Rashad Bateman though too, to be honest. So all the
Yeah,
RBs, yeah. So I think you know what? Let's just go Rashad Bateman. Different by week, could spike. I think he's not like a huge value, but I do think he's decent here.
do you get worried at all by the DeAndre Hopkins running 20 miles per hour in camp and they're saying they're going to give him some touchdowns? I'm not too worried about it, but I was like, damn, he's still touching 20 miles per hour.
I don't believe it. I mean, look, I saw how he played last year. That dude barely ran like 10 miles per hour.
Right. It might be juicing the numbers a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Hopkins, like he's just if he was gonna do anything, he would have done it last year with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I remember he had that one like he got traded, and I think he had like 2 touchdowns in that week, and like everyone's like, "Oh, he's a receiver one," Hopkins is back, and he didn't do anything outside of that. Okay, all right, we're gonna have some fun, guys. We're gonna take Loveland, pair up with Caleb, and then we're gonna stop at tight end. Brock Bowers and Loveland feels like a pretty nice duel.
Couple studs, old Bowers and new Bowers.
Right. Hey man, if Loveland could be Bowers to have 2 Bowers on the team, crazy. All right, let's see. Let me catch up with chat. Or says that's the actual bar from Mr. West. There you go. Way more balanced than Sutz, who is one tweak hamstring away from eliminated.
Bro, it's all about getting unique. No, I'm cooked.
But you can bounce back. Zero says you have the Packers receiver 3 as your receiver 4. That's crazy. Time to slam receiver. Yeah, I do think Bateman's a good click. All right, so that's back on the clock. Let's see. Is he taking an RB? Okay, he takes Jaden Blue.
I almost leaned into the bit, but we got to be serious. We got to be adults about this.
Yeah, there's money to be made. Okay, you take your boy Tank Bisbee.
I probably would have done Ray Davis otherwise, but I had the bye week overlap, and I cannot afford to overlap buys at running back right now. So
yeah, when you're only gonna have like 4 RBs, you probably want different bye weeks.
And your RB2 is the RB3 on the Cowboys, then you gotta at least have a couple different bye weeks going.
Yeah, you see, some are saying that Tank Bigsby is this year's Chuba Hubbard. What do you think about that?
That low key kind of feels like the case. You have the former Bucks OC becoming a head coach, ambiguous backfield, but you have a guy who had the good underlying metrics. I like Tootin a lot, but he is a bit of a speed merchant. Like he's a good player, but he's not as shifty as like Achan. And I think ETN is kind of like a question mark.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, the Tank bet, we'll see, but I'm riding with it. And I think if we get some more good buzz on him, he'll start to rise a bit.
Yeah, I think I was saying it earlier today that I just want to take shots in some of these backfields like Jacksonville. I'll have, I'll be taking, all the RBs. The Cowboys, I think you want to try to take your shot at some of these guys, just because like the value that the RB room is going to bring is going to be good. We don't know who it's going to be coming from yet.
Yeah, and it's so free.
I'm gonna go Bryce Young, take my quarterback 2 here. I was thinking about him or Cam, but I think I don't know. Do you have one, like who do you have first, Cam or Bryce?
That's interesting because it feels like the ceiling is higher for Cam as a talent right now, but I do worry about some of his weapons beyond Ridley, and I think maybe my tiebreaker for Bryce over Cam this year is I believe in Bryce's coach, and I do not believe in Brian Callahan at all. So
Yeah. Does do you know does Geno Smith go after Cam and Bryce in like BBM?
I think Cam used to go ahead, but I think Gino recently flipped him.
Okay. I was gonna say because like the eliminator, like there's some weird ADP differences where I'm just like it just the markets it doesn't make sense for what the market's doing for some of these players.
Right. You get the rookies like pushed down a little bit, even the running backs. So, sometimes it's fun to get like a Hampton or a Judkins.
For sure.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. Oh, so what do we oh man.
Well, you did make the finals last year. So when you were in the finals, what was the like how big were the finals? It was like 100 something.
It was about 115 people. Um and I ended up finishing 51st. Okay, sorry. I'm just trying to figure out what to do with this pick.
No, you're
Okay.
good.
Um all right. I was thinking about taking Gino, but we just got to get more running back bodies into this room.
I like that. I think those are two good clicks. I think you're catching up to the your RB room now. Not bad.
I'm giving myself a chance at usable weeks with things that could go right with an injury in the room. Jaden Blue, Tank Bigsby, Austin Eckler, Algier, they can ping pong 12-point weeks, I think.
Yeah, I mean Austin Eckler, I like a lot. I think he's solid. He's gonna give you like a decent floor. Tyler Algier too, right? Could have some spikes, and then Blue and Tank are kind of like gambles where maybe they're the starter for their teams.
Yeah, nice little layering of if everything else can hit, then we shall see.
Yeah. So I'm up next. Got a 2-3-6-2 build. Receiver, there's no receivers I really want to take right here. So I think I'll probably double dip at RB. Roshan. So
Roshan.
let me ask you this.
Well, well, well.
Let me ask you this. Hold up. We're gonna. I have Caleb, so like, yeah. Let me just take Roshan. All right, so you're completely out on Roshan,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now, if Roshan, let's say the Bears don't sign anyone, they don't trade, they go into the season with Swift and Roshan and whatever RBs else. How are you gonna feel about Roshan then?
I'm going to sleep like a baby as I lie to myself that there's no chance that he can't beat David Montgomery. He definitely could have that David Montgomery type role. I just don't, you know, it is true that running back, it is more about opportunity than talent sometimes. And,
Mm-hmm.
we've made all these excuses for these other Bears last year. Could you make an excuse for him? I think that's fair. The interior line has improved. I just don't think he has enough shiftiness or juice personally. Uh, but my main concern is that I think they are likely to bring someone in. I'll grab a little Roshan, I think, in August if he's like survived till then. But I'm still kind of worried about like a potential Chubb or an ETN trade or, like any kind of trade really type of deal.
For sure. Like I won't lie, I have been thinking about that too. I'm just like for me it's a bit where it's like when I see Roshan, I'm just like tripling down. And I know I could get hurt. I know I could see like Nick Chubb or Dobbins there, and then I'll be like, fuck, like but still, like I don't think if either one signed, I don't think Roshan is completely dead
No.
because I think whatever running back they get is probably not too good. But if they did sign Chubb or Dobbins, are you going to be drafting one of them?
Yeah, I've been taking Chubb a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
I just, based on some of the reports I've seen, it just kind of feels like there's a little bit of smoke there. And he's looked decent in his workouts. Um,
No,
Hartman
that
has a um, Dobbins back.
I think Hartman. I think he has like. I'll probably butcher this, but we were doing the stream. Like Dobbins probably is one of his highest drafted RB right now.
Hey man, I have 40% Amari Cooper. Shout out to the Dusty Olds.
Yeah. Time to 27. Sean, are you referring to Sean of me getting Chase Brown as a still with a ADP value of 1.5? Is that what you're suggesting? If so, you're a smart man. But yeah, we'll see with the Bears. I think the Bears RB room is very well. That I'll say this too. So one of the things I was listening today was like, what if the Bears like running game isn't that good or efficient, and that's where like the Bears are just gonna throw the ball a lot more.
That's
Like,
kind of where I lean at the moment.
right? They have the weapons to do it.
Kind of feels like the Bengals last year. Like, sure, like you hand it off to Chase Brown sometimes, but he's really earning his keep through the air. Honestly, DeAndre Swift and Chase Brown have a lot in common potentially. Like,
Yeah,
what if DeAndre Swift just gets a disgustingly large role, which he's handled in the past. I mean, he's gotten hurt, but he can tote the rock a bunch and catch a bunch of passes. And they're just like, you're playing like most of the time, but we're always throwing, kind of like the Bengals last year.
if Swift gets like what he got last year, he's probably a smash at where he's going.
Right. And you just amplify the, new and improved offensive system.
Yeah. What to do? 3 more picks left. I have a 2, 5, 6, 2. I don't have much Pat Bryant. I'm gonna take him here just because chance that he might actually be just better than the other Broncos receivers. Be the receiver 2 there. We'll see.
Yeah, they were glazing him, saying he's like Michael Thomas. I could definitely see him carving out a significant role early.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, this is the 3rd year in a row Bronco or Sean Payne has drafted a day 2 receiver. So maybe Pat Bryant's the one that's actually gonna kind of like pan out and be productive his rookie year.
And God forbid anything happens to Courtland Sutton, but if he goes down, Pat Bryant kind of feels like the logical wide receiver 1, X type of guy.
Yeah, I agree with that. With this build, would you stop at 5 RBs or add one more?
If there's a guy you'd like, I would probably tack on a 6.
I think I'm gonna do something ugly later then. I think no fuck, let's do it now. Let's have some fun, guys. Wait. Let's do Miles Sanders. There's reports that he's splitting first team reps with Javonte, and apparently Miles Sanders has some juice.
This has been my sneaky take. I've zero Javonte through like every pre-draft, post-draft, and I have like probably 2 or 3% Sanders, but I want to get it up just a smidge. Like he's had a 1,200 yard season, like 2022.
Yeah, like Miles Sanders, like he was good. He's been ass. Last year, week 18, though, even though it's week 18, shouldn't really count, but like dude blew up, and had a huge week. And he's free. He's round 18. Like if Javonte Williams sucks ass, he goes pick 115. Sanders goes in the 200s. Like I wouldn't be surprised if the Cowboys just prefer Sanders than Javonte at this point. Like once we get more news and training camp is coming out.
100%. Yeah, and a couple years ago he had a great season.
Yeah,
I forget who it was. I wish I could credit them. Talked about how he wasn't like the best scheme fit in Carolina, but how he might be a better fit for Schottenheimer. And it's not like they invested a ton of money in Javonte, so it kind of feels like the price in these drafts is not like reflective of what the teams actually have invested.
Exactly. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm approaching it too. All right, let's see. Sean says he's garbage, but the rest of the team is held down. Oh, I appreciate that, man. Hartman says I may or may not have a very large bag of Dolphins, like 19%. Dobbins is only 26, but like his body's like he's probably like 46 at this point. Line for Bears is supposed to be a much better, huge team investment. Yeah, they did a killer job in the offseason trading and signing these guys. Oh, Hardman, don't start spreading rumors. I don't want Miles Sanders tied to my name. Yo, what's good, Bendos?
Yeah,
Hola,
no.
how we doing tonight? Miles Sanders this year's Kyron Nick Bockwitz. You know what? Fuck it. I'll double down. Miles Sanders is gonna be the RB1 for the Cowboys, and he's gonna put up over 200 fantasy points. Clip it. Remember this by week. Yeah, just remember this, guys.
In this scenario, can Jaden Blue be the 1B at least?
Oh, you know what? He'll have a couple spikes for you. I'll allow that.
Thank you.
Um, Jeez, okay. We're taking down Jones, quarterback 3. I don't love this team, guys. To be honest, I don't think I drafted a great team. We're gonna review it. Maybe I'll change my mind. Amari Cooper,
Had to do the bit,
you
I don't even believe anymore. I don't know what to believe anymore. But hey, maybe June 1st is cleared. The compensatory pick stuff is settled. Teams are now incentivized to sign the dusty olds. This could be the week.
man, it'll be so funny. Like Amari Cooper like signs with like I don't know, like the Jets, and then like I wonder how high he would go up.
Dude, just imagine week 16 to Rod Taylor to Amari Cooper, dude. That is rocket ship emoji. 3 of them.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be chasing that Amari Cooper.
You're like,
Who
yeah, sure, man.
I hope so. I had a huge Amari Cooper bag. Like at one point, I was like 20%, and then the last few weeks, I don't even look at his weight anymore. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm just like, screw Amari. All right, so we did an eliminator, right? Me and Sus, we built different teams in this draft. I had a 3-6-7-2, Caleb Williams, Bryce Young, Daniel Jones. Feel fine with the quarterback, different buys, all have some rushing upside. And then RBs Gibbs, Chase Brown, Mason, Roshan, Hill, Sanders. I think there's enough here for the RBs. We're betting on Gibbs and Chase holding it down. I like Mason as an RB3. And then, we'll see. Hopefully Roshan, hopefully is he the guy, the RB2? If so, I think this room is pretty good. The receivers, though, like I don't love it, man. I mean, Tet, Ridley, Rome, Jaden, Bateman, Betch, Bryant. I have 3 rookies. I have, a guy that plays half the snaps. Rome sucks. Calvin Ridley is probably the only good receiver here. So I don't love it. I don't. I do like my tight end room, Bowers and Loveland. Very good. So, this is definitely, but you know what they say? They say is like the teams that you don't like are the ones that actually do good. So,
If you had a pivot point, is there anywhere you would go different?
It's a good question. If I could pivot, if I could change, I don't know. I think maybe not really, to be honest. Like I think I would have done maybe Chase Brown instead of going to him. I take a receipt. No, I think it's a tight end. Like I don't take elite tight ends because I just feel like it puts me back sometimes. And I mean, maybe I change to Jacobs here. I don't take Chase Brown. I take a receiver instead. But
or push tight end too a little further.
yeah, I definitely could have done that. I could have, maybe if I don't take Jones and I take just like some receiver, I might feel a little better having 8.
Hey, once Daniel Jones is starting week 1, you'll feel nice about it.
That is true. Yeah. At least I got someone that's gonna start. All right, so let's break it down. 2-6-8-2. What did we do today?
So we got our elite quarterback. He's going to hit the lineup, 11, 12 times. He's rushing a ton, and then Dak, just slinging it. So I feel good about that quarterback room as long as it's healthy, and just hope you ping pong the right bye weeks. Uh, RB room is one of the teams of all time. I don't usually do this. I don't really, not financial advice, but we got the hero, Derrick Henry. And then, you're just hoping that Jaden Blue can have a bigger role than expected. Jarquez can maybe be in a little bit of a timeshare as like the RB2. Eckler and Tank maybe, holding it down, and then Algier as the contingent. So, again, I don't love it for Eliminator, but I think there's a way it could work. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Wide receiver, just BBC, Brian Thomas, Terry McLaurin, George Pickens, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Darnell Mooney, and then the two Dusty Olds. So this is going to be a wide receiver in the flex ass team.
For sure, yeah. I mean, the receiver room definitely carries the RB room. So I think, the receivers, you're fine. Your quarterback, you have the elite. We didn't go over your tight end, but I'm sure you feel good about getting your boy Janu, right?
I feel like the Jonnu FUD, I got it, like the whole rumors were swirling. I feel like you had said we've kind of calmed that. I'm not too worried he's going to be on the move. If he's on the move, this team's dead. We're all going to lose anyway, and nothing matters. But if he plays, he was a pretty consistent contributor. And Elijah Arroyo is my new favorite, round 17, 18 click. I'm getting hyped up on him.
You know what? Is it because Noah Fant's going to get cut?
I think Noah Fant gets cut. We saw the Seahawks GM talk about how they had him as a top 15 player in the draft. Without the injury concerns. He's past the injury concerns. And there's been some speculation they could have him lining up where, even at times where DK Metcalf did.
Yeah, I mean, that's high praise for a tight end, for sure. Yeah. You got to feel good about that. I think I think this is both teams we don't usually build, right? So it's a little different. Let's see how Zero team held up. Okay, so he builds a 3-6-6-3, Burrow, Geno, Russell Wilson. I've seen him take Russell a decent amount. I think, you know what, like, because it's Eliminator, I'm okay with Russell more in this format because if he does start like 8, maybe even 10 weeks, I mean, they're saying Dart's not going to play at all this year. I don't buy that, but I do think Russell could be serviceable. Kyren, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and if he plays 10 games, he's holding you down through both bye weeks for the quarterback. So it's good he has the late bye.
For sure. And then he has Kyren, David Montgomery, Harris, Travis, Rico, Estime. I feel good about this room. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, week 8 running back room is going to be thinner than mine somehow. But besides that.
Yeah. That is true. It's really Najee and hopefully one of the starters is out by that time.
Yeah.
Malik T, Adams, Golden, Downs, Thielen. So he pulls up Higgins a little here. He does get a decent value on Adams. I think when you have Josh Downs as your receiver 5, like you feel pretty good about the room. Cool with that. Ty Warren, Henry, and Mason Taylor, tight ends. So I mean, I think it's pretty balanced. Like I don't really see any like glaring weaknesses. I think structurally he did a good job.
Yeah, I like it as well for personal. This is just me personally. I kind of like 7 wide receivers minimum for Eliminator, just for the fact that you need 3 of them, and you're bound to get one injury for like a month or something. Say T Higgins pulls his hamstring or Devontae. It's nice to have that insurance, just an extra body. And the late round receivers are more likely to give you like a 10, 12 point game than some of the late round running backs. But personal preference.
No, for sure. I think I'm usually 7 receivers too. 6, I do 6 sometimes if I feel like if I draft receivers early, I'll stop at 6. This one's like on the borderline of it where it's like I'm okay with 6, but I could see myself going 7. Maybe I do 7 and not do the Russell Wilson, or maybe not do the Mason Taylor.
Yeah.
But either way, it's a solid build.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, that was fun, man. Look, even though I drafted a terrible team, right? But I still had a lot of fun. I think also that's gonna do it for the stream today. Short stream, one draft, but I'm happy that I was able to get it in. Sus, I appreciate you coming on. Tell the people where they can find you and if you have anything cooking up this week.
Find me on Twitter at susedwards18633, the random generated name that they gave me when I signed up for it. Definitely should change that. And then just on YouTube, Sus Edwards Fantasy Football. I just put out videos here and there with the homie Sean, and I'd love to have Nick on soon. That'd be lit. And yeah, and we're just having fun. Best ball summer. Appreciate you having me on. It's always a blast coming on.
Of course, man. I always appreciate you having you on. Do look forward to having you and Sean both at some point and vice versa. And yeah, good draft. Appreciate everybody in the chat. If you don't mind, like the video, subscribe if you are not. You can find me on Twitter at Nick Bocklage. That's it for my Twitter. But anyways, that's gonna do it. Appreciate everybody. Good night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Actually, maybe doing a stream with a surprise guest. Adios.
Peace.